everyone. I wanted to talk about W sitting. I've gotten a lot of questions about this topic, and I'm probably not gonna be able to address it all in one video, but I thought I would get started. I also plan to do a post at some point in time, but sometimes it's just easier to talk. So, W sitting gets a lot of bad press. I'm not a big fan of it, but I do want you to know it is that's not the right word. It is a typical way to sit when kids are transitioning in and out of positions. So as a therapist, I'm not saying a child should never W sit. Like, when it becomes a problem is when that is the only form of sitting they will do. And you start to see, so for those of you that don't know, I can't really do it very well myself. I've had 2 hip surgeries, but so basically when kids sit like this, so their bottom is in between their 2 feet. And if you start to see kids, like, you'll notice that the legs are going out further and further. So they're taking up a lot of floor space. The reason as a therapist we don't love W sitting, especially when it is the only method for sitting, is that, let's see if I can show you without, I'm gonna do my best to go into it. So basically they're sitting down like this, like, take off my jacket here. And they are, you know, kind of a hunched back. So look at that sitting posture versus like if I'm side sitting where I'm up tall. In addition, when you're sitting in W sitting, you don't end up using as much trunk rotation. It's kind of a quote unquote lazy way to sit. It also puts the hips in internal rotation for a lot. Research shows that it doesn't cause hip dysplasia. But what it can do is it can limit further strengthening of your trunk. It's also staying in one position for a long period of time because there's less transition happening. Here, Jace, come here. Come here. I'm gonna try to bring my model over here to show you some things. Can you come over here? Okay, well, anyway, so what we want is we want kids to be able to move around and using trunk rotation. And so, like, they'll be getting up or down. And a lot of times, so because they've been in W sitting, they get tight hamstrings, they get tight low back muscles. Sorry, he's fighting for the camera. There's a lot of tightness that happens. So then when you try to get them to sit in crisscross applesauce or Taylor sitting, as we call it, they end up sitting like this. So they don't want to sit in this position because they're so far away from the toys. So, you know, they go back to the W sitting. Sorry, fighting over the camera here. Okay, I'm going to move it over here. So they go back to the W sitting because now they can play with a toy right here. So it kind of sets up this circular pattern. Now there is one time when and again, I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, but when babies are born, the long bones of their femur, so the top part of their leg, all of our femurs have a slight spiral to them. And when they're born, they're in one position. And so as they spend time on their tummy and work through the developmental progression, by strengthening their glutes or their butt muscles, the pull of that muscle helps to derotate the femur so that you end up with a mature leg position. If sometimes kids, if they don't get to work on the glute strength, the bone doesn't have a chance to derotate. So it sets the bones up. And sometimes this just happens for no reason at all. There's definitely not enough research there. But if the bone is still in this rotated position, W sitting is going to be a more comfortable sitting position for the child. So that's why we also want to look early while there's still a chance to help maybe with some of that derotation, to help them get the glute strength and to develop the core strength and maintain the range of motion. So I apologize for all that's happening right here. Excuse me, we're trying to talk to everybody. Yeah, so that's a little bit of background on W sitting. I'm definitely going to do a second video because I'm going to talk about like what can we do about it. So, all right, thank you guys. Let me know what questions you have, and do know that I am going to be coming with a follow-up video.